guys, it's Relaine and welcome back to another episode of Life. So we should just get started. Okay, today's episode 27, so let's move on. Today's song of the week is Holy by Justin Bieber. I couldn't really find the meaning of the song, just a small little part of the song, like a meaning of it. Justin Bieber's Holy lyrics are about why he married Hailey Bieber so fast and how much he loves God. That's all I could find about it, I'm sorry. Anyways, now let's move on to the rest of the week. Rest of the week. Some people give freely and gain more. Others refuse to give and end up with less. Proverbs 11:24. A generous person enjoys prosperity. He who satisfies others shall himself be sated. Proverbs 11 is a collection of 31 sayings, and many have to do with either proper, improper behavior or righteous, wicked. Many of the proverbs have to do with proper and improper behavior. Now for the childhood things for the week. Where am I? Excuse me. I'm having a green tea, so in case you're wondering. Okay, childhood things for the week. Visitors Lio the kindly Viking, and I have never seen this one. I didn't even know it existed. Okay, let's start. Countertop intro, and I feel itchy. Great. Here we go. Okay. Bob and Larry are on the countertop once again, explaining that they gotten a lot of letters asking regards to subject of sharing. However, Archibald Vegas shows up and asks Bob and Larry to let him host the show for a chance in an attempt to add culture and class to the show. Bob has no other choice but let Archibald take over the show, like the time Jimmy and Jerry attempted to put a show. Archibald, now comforted by John, Clede, and Philippe, attempt to retell the classic story of Hamlet, but John Claude, entitled Omelette. Despite his insistence that this is not the right story, Archibald has no choice but to present the not-so-classic story, Omelette. In the Kingdom of Denmark, two servants played by John Clegg and Philip respectively approach the baker Horatio, played by Scooter, and explain to him that Prince Omelette requests his daily eggs cooked lightly and fluffy. Horatio tells him the last eggs he he has the last eggs in the entire kingdom. And is worried that the prince won't share his eggs with his starving people, but proceeds to cook the eggs anyways. Meanwhile, Omelette, played by Jimmy Gord, laments about the trouble of his country running out of eggs, and his people are starving. Horatio then approaches Omelette, bringing him his eggs and cooked lightly and fluffy, before telling him that they're the last eggs in the kingdom. Omelette then says, "Alas, poor yolks, I'll chew them well, Horatio." After Horatio leaves, Omelette then makes note that Ophelia has come, but offstage Mr. Lund, dressed in drag, does not want to do it because it's embarrassing. Archibald tells him that in Shakespeare's day, all women roles were played by men, before pushing Mr. Lunt on the stage. Ophelia, played by Mr. Lunt, explains Omelette that the people of Denmark are starving and there aren't enough eggs to go around. While he feast on the eggs every day. When Ophelia suggests to Omelette, I can deal with that name, that he shares his eggs with the people, Omelette is outraged, saying if he does that, then he won't have any. Before Ophelia tells him that God likes it when we share our blessings before leaving. After Ophelia leaves, Omelette then performs a spoof of the famous "To Be or Not to Be" speech, asking whether or not he should share his eggs. A young lad played by Percy P. then shows up playing a game of Battleship and asks Omelette to play with him, which Omelette agrees to. The young lad notices Omelette's plate of eggs and asks if he would try a bite. At first, Omelette is hesitant, but he finally permits and and a young lad to try his eggs. Once the young lad takes a bite, Omelette realizes that he just shared and it feels pretty good. Before the young lad tells him that the things we need to do are usually makes us feel good. The things we do for others usually make us feel good as well. Because of this generous act that he just committed, Omelette gathers everyone in the town square and announces to everyone that he has decided to share his eggs with everyone. Horatio tells Omelette that there aren't enough eggs to go around before Polonius, played by Jerry Gord, asks Omelette where they could find these eggs. Omelette answers, no, they're the white round things that come out of chickens, which shocks Polonius, saying that he thought they were ping pong balls before cutting a ping pong table that is messy with eggs. Omelette then proclaims that everyone have to have eggs cooked light and fluffy. Now I'm hungry. This gives Horatio an idea decided to name these light and fluffy eggs after Omelette, calling it the Omelette. Ophelia then asks Omelette where to get some toast, and Omelette answers to a bakery. After the play ends, Larry Cucumber and Jerry Fergus are in the audience. Larry then asks Junior if he understood any of that. Junior replies he didn't understand a word. Lyle, the kindly Viking. Archibald then explains to the viewers that he has reason to believe that the famous composer Gilbert and Sylvain composed more than one musical before their deaths. Before it could ever be staged, Jean-Claude and Philippe then bring in the book, which is entitled Lyle the Kindly Viking. Archibald then narrates, explaining that there once lived a band of Vikings who lived by the sea. Two women named Mabel and Penelope show up, asking each other how the other is doing. Before wondering where their husbands are, the two then sing about how they married Vikings. The terrors of the sea. Soon the Vikings consisting of the leader Olaf, played by Mr. Nezzer, Ottar, played by Bob the Tomato, Sven, played by Larry the Cucumber, Harold, played by Jimmy Gord, Eric, played by Jerry Gord, and Blundjorn, played by Mr. Lunt, returned from their expedition and plaguing a bunch of stuff before they start singing about Vikings. They enjoy plundering a bunch of stuff such as gold and jewels, and a shiny suit, and a giant screen TV to boot. Archibald then narrates that what the Vikings are actually doing is taking stuff from others, also adding that their boats were so fast that no one could be able to catch them. Then he also explains that not all the Vikings were involved in this unfortunate practice. There was actually one in particular named Lyle. Lyle, played by Junior Fergus, then goes out on his own expedition on sea, which confuses the other Vikings. Olaf then starts singing about how Lyle does not fit in the style of Vikings, telling Harold and Eric that for a long time the law of stealing stuff has been made clear. After Olaf finishes his song, he hops off and followed by Harold, Eric. However, Sven and Ottar decided to follow after Lyle. Being careful not to get close to him, Lyle then returns the exact same monetary that the Vikings raided before. Where Sven and Ottar witnesses Lyle sharing a bag of pot holders and a bag of money that the other Vikings gave him with a lead monk, played by Hallgrave, and his group of P monks. The P monks then thank Lyle in song for sharing with them. This confuses Sven and Ottar very much before they return home to wait for Lyle. When Lyle returns home, Sven and Ottar confront him, tell him in song that he should stop what he is doing, and that Viking rule of the sea wait, and never give things back. Lyle then explains to them in song that when he shares, he gets share of his friends. After Lyle finishes song, Sven and Altor realize that Lyle's method may be a lot better than Olaf's method, after all. Before realizing that Lyle would be in big trouble if Olaf learns what he was really doing. Because of this, Sven and Altor vow to keep Lyle's secret safe. Why am I tired? Which, according to Archibald, is easier said than done. Next day, as the Vikings are heading out to raid the monastery, once again, Altor discovers that Lyle is already at the monastery before they are, and that he and Sven have to distract Olaf before he discovers what's going on. Altor then distracts Olaf by telling him through a song that there's a fish with a bunch of pretty colors over all over their scales. Sven then sings to Olaf that there is a turtle wearing pink pajamas while riding on a llama chasing a herd of giant squid. Unfortunately, Olaf doesn't believe him. Then the other Vikings soon discover that Lyle leaving the monastery, as well as with potholders and the money that he gave to the monks. This angers Olaf. And just as the storm starts up, Lyle continues rolling until he is confronted by Olaf, who is grumpily asks Lyle in song what he's doing before he starts to tear up the sail on Lyle's boat and throws away the oars, which leaves Lyle drifting away in the sea as his punishment. However, a large tidal wave, which had been brought up by the storm, knocks over the Vikings' boat, which causes them to fall into the sea. Another wave knocks over Lyle's boat, knocking him into the sea as well. The monks then throw a life ring out into the sea to save Lyle, which the Vikings witness that they begin to realize that Lyle's method is better than theirs. Lyle has the monks help him to save the rest of the Vikings from the storm, bringing them to safety. The storm clears away just as the Vikings have been brought back to shore. Vikings then thank the monks and storm for saving them from the storm, and apologize for being ruthless and stole their stuff. That and now on they will share with others instead of stealing from others. After the Vikings finish singing, Sven asks if they can't be Vikings anymore, but the leading monk tells him it won't be necessary. Will have to change their song as a result. All the Vikings then sing a reprise that were Vikings song, but this time singing about sharing with others, and that we are known as sharers of the sea. Sven then sings that he needs to go to the bathroom before Altor tells him that he can just talk about before the story ends. Undertop outro. After Archibald closes up the book, he discovers that the story was actually written by Gilbert Jones and Stephen O'Kelly instead of the real Gilbert and Sullivan. This angers Archibald very much that he starts chasing after Jane and Claude Philippe in the attempt to catch them, thinking that they tricked him. While running past Bob and Larry, who are now standing next to Qwerty. When Bob explains that there were Qwerty about to talk about what they learned today, what we have learned song starts up. We have learned. I don't remember the lyrics. I feel bad. Starts up again. Before Larry asks Bob if Archibald and French Fleas will be alright, to which Bob replies they'll be just fine. The song then starts up again. After that, the song ends. Bob explains that Prince Omelette learned that when we share, it makes us and the people around us feel good. While Larry also explains that Lyle taught all the Vikings that even through sharing doesn't get you more stuff. It gets you more friends, which is even better. Qwerty then brings up the verse, which is, and do not forget to do good and share with others. for which such sacrifice God is pleased. Hebrews 13:16. After Bob and Larry sign off, Archibald and French fleas are still going nuts with a crashing sound that heard as a plate of omelets stuck on a roll by. Larry tells Bob not to look at the man disc without explaining why, but Bob doesn't care and tells him to roll the credits as the episode ends. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this new episode of Life, and I just realized my hair is messy, and I hope you got something out of God today. Well, that is all for today, and you're gonna be seeing some words in 3, 2, 1.